How are you getting on, folks? Look at, I think Fairy House, it just didn't really go our way yesterday. Overall, it was, I suppose, a very much seconditis day overall, but we still managed to get the nap in the next best coming in, as well as a very nice, I suppose, each way for the likes of Ngolo and Castmate. I suppose, a bit more luck in running. Caskmate probably could have got out without, I suppose, bumping into the Jigginstown horse for Gordon Elliott, as well as that. And Golo probably could have got a clearer run through on the inside as well. But look, it was a great day's racing altogether. We managed to get the nap on the next best coming in. I did say 8 to 13 was very, very big for Honeysuckle. Obviously, look at it, went off. I think it was 4 to 9, or at least 1 to 2 anyway, whatever it was. I did predict it was going to go into a price like that, so hopefully he got on at 8 to 13 anyway. The next best at 15 to 8 was a very nice winner. Very, very easy winner. Very nice bumper sort. Should be well suited to hurdles. But moving on to Limerick now tomorrow, it definitely looks to be a very nice looking card. I think overall it does definitely look to be a profitable day for us. There isn't a single odds on horse in this particular meeting now tomorrow, so it should be, well, look at it. If we could get 3 or 4 winners, hopefully, which I definitely think we should, it should definitely be a fairly nice day tomorrow. Now, moving on there to the first race, the 12:40, we are going to go with Palm Beach at 13 to 8. For me personally, this one here looks to be very, very nice. It's coming up against Crassus, who has been, I suppose, prone to be vulnerable to an improving sort, or I suppose a particular star in the making. Palm Beach, coming from his father Aidan O'Brien, going to Joseph, having been bought up by JP from the Ballydoyle syndicate, or the Ballydoyle, not Ballydoyle, Coolmore, sorry. Coolmore breeding operation. It definitely looks to be a nice looking sort. Very nice winner in heavy ground in Cork, if I'm not mistaken. Was ahead of My Sister Sarah that day by about 2 lengths in heavy ground. So at least it's going to be meeting that sort of ground tomorrow. Now, My Sister Sarah is a very, very pacey mare. She's a very good dual purpose sort, especially in heavy ground. So the fact that this Palm Beach was 2 lengths ahead of her in, I suppose, heavy ground definitely does speak volumes about his chance. I think he's going to definitely take the hurdles. I think the reason why JP is after buying it up is because he wants to get a nice pacey sort, something for the likes of a Triumph or something like that. And I definitely think, I suppose, providing it does jump well, which I think it should, it could definitely be a very nice horse for the Triumph hurdle. I think overall, potentially, we could be looking at another Sir Eric here, providing, I suppose, it stays injury free and it jumps as good as everything else, I suppose, that comes out of Joseph's yard. It's definitely a very interesting sort with a very nice bloodline. I think it's going to be very well schooled going over hurdles, and it should be well capable of picking off this particular race. Now, the 110, we are going to go with Rembrandt Jack at 5 to 4 for Willie Mullins and Paul Townend here. This one definitely looks to be a little bit of an interesting sort, although we do not really know what sort of capabilities this horse actually has. It was, I suppose, it was third last time out in France. It was his first run, if I'm not mistaken, in, I suppose, soft to heavy ground. That, I suppose, was a field of three, so the fact he was third that day didn't really, I suppose, speak too much for his overall chance. But the one thing that I am looking at here is the horse that was ahead of him by 1 length, and 1 length only, is now rated 140. And he has gone on to win something like £80,000 worth of prize money. Won some very, very nice races over in France. So, look, I suppose you could be looking for a horse to take a bit of improvement coming from Willie's, like these French horses normally do. I think it's got a great, great chance. 5 to 4 is a short enough price, but look at the way that Willie Mullins is in such great form. You'd nearly be sort of expecting him to win a very, very comfortable race tomorrow, providing I suppose it matches the same form that I did in the first race, the race he finished in third. Um, he should be well capable of running up to a mark of 140 in a field of I suppose 120 horses. That should definitely make him a very, very easy winner. And 5 to 4 looks to be a little bit generous. Now, moving on then to the 140, we are going to go with Elusive Star here from Michael Horrigan. And I can't even think of who was riding it tomorrow, but the current price is in around 15 to 2. This one here is definitely very interesting. It's coming from a local yard, going straight to Limerick. The form around Limerick is fairly decent in it as well for an each way price. Ran a very, very nice race last time out. If I'm not mistaken, it was second. And it looks to have a very nice run in him. Providing, I suppose, look at it, it handles the heavy ground, which it should do. I think the last time it ran was soft to heavy, so I think the softer the ground, the better it gets. I'm sort of tied between a few of these, so I did back it each way. But I think the fact that it is a local horse and the fact that it does have, I suppose, form in Limerick as well definitely speaks volumes about his chance. I think 15 to 2 is a very generous each way price, and hopefully it'll get Michael off to a winning, I suppose, a winning start to the day. Now the next race then, the 2:15. We are going to go with the nap of the day here now. Classic Concord at 7 to 2 definitely looks to be a very, very interesting price. I was sort of tied between himself and Rudy Cottrell, but for me personally speaking, I think Rudy Cottrell has hit his handicap limit. I think, I suppose, going off in heavy ground tomorrow, I think it'll be a little bit tricky for him. I think it might just, I suppose, catch him out a little bit, especially with the 11 pound hike that he has gotten. Classic Concord obviously beat the field by 30 lengths last time out, and he's still on a fairly relatively easy mark, providing, I suppose, that he keeps the improvement going, or it's still well ahead of its current mark. It nearly should be at this stage, but in my personal opinion, 7 to 2 is great, great value. I think overall you're definitely looking at first or second anyway, and at the end of the day, look, I think it's definitely got a great, great shout, and surely, I suppose, if it's still in the same form as its Punchestown or its Fairyhouse win, it should really be very, very hard to stop. It should be produced, I suppose, coming into the home turn, and I would be expecting it to kick clear then, but it is a very, very competitive handicap. But I still think 7 to 2 is a nap worthy price for this Classic Concord. I think he's massively, massively overpriced. Now the next race then, the 2:45, we are going to go with Jungus here at 8 to 1. I'm trying to think who trains it. I can't remember who trains it, but I know Dennis O'Regan rides. Now I was sort of humming and hawing between En Baton and this one. En Baton obviously coming from Willie Mullins' yard. We were talking to Steph Searle there last week, so we got a bit of, I suppose, word about the particular horse. He's definitely going to improve for what he does here tomorrow, but I don't know. I think the ground might just catch him out tomorrow. I think he might just be a little bit fresh, in terms of going out in heavy ground, and he might just need the run just to, I suppose, settle himself and just get himself to mature a little bit more. I think chasing will be ultimately his game where he excels. He seems to be a fairly big horse, and Steph definitely speaks very fondly of him. But this Jongus here at 8 to 1 definitely has an awful lot of aces here when it comes to Limerick form. It was second last time it ran, and it was fourth at 40 to 1 the last run. I think it was only I think 6 or 7 lengths, if even that, last time out. But it's clear as day that the horse is in serious form. Dennis O'Regan is starting, I suppose, come into his own. Um, yes, actually, I think the last day he was second to the Devil's Coachman, if I'm not mistaken. I think I might be right or I might be wrong. One of my horses anyway has been second to the Devil's Coachman in Cork last time out, which definitely does hold great form. I'm nearly certain this one is it. Now I could be totally wrong on that one, but um, yeah, I'm nearly sure it does. But something definitely speaks very good volumes around here. I think this one here now definitely holds an awful lot of cards in terms of form around Limerick, in form around heavy ground, and it should be thereabouts in the finish. I think 8-1 is massive value, and is definitely there for an each way shout. Next race then, the 3:15. We are going to go with another each way shout here now with this one, Solar Heat for Dot Love. I think no, it's not Simon Tarns. This is a ladies' race now tomorrow. Um, I can't. I don't know. I think it might be a ladies' race, or maybe no, it's the next one after that. I don't know who is. I don't know who in particular is riding it, but it definitely has a very nice chance. Um, it was a very good second last time out in Navan there last week. Looked like it was going to be one of the ones battling out for the finish, and definitely looks like the win is coming very soon. I think Limerick is definitely going to suit it. It's a very I suppose it's a very nice, I suppose, staying track more so than a galloping track. I think when you're, I suppose, riding around Limerick, it often favours the jockeys to come, I suppose, with a late pounce, or I suppose coming around the final bend to come pouncing at that time instead of, I suppose, taking the field and leading them on a merry dance. That's just my personal opinion, but I think more often than not the winners do come from off the pace. I think Solar Heat will definitely be well suited to that. I think it's going to be. I don't even know who is going to make the running, but I think Solar Heat's going to be, I suppose, just off the pace and just, I suppose, in touch the whole way along. Coming around the final bend, I would be expecting to see whoever is riding it tomorrow to be producing it, I suppose, coming around that final bend, and I suppose moving into second or third, coming up to, I suppose, 2 or 3 from the finish, and yeah, hopefully it'll be able to take it up from there and, I suppose, kick on for home. But I definitely think it's on a very leaning mark. I think 9-1 is very great value, and the fact that Dot Love is in such great form so far this year, I would be surprised to see this horse out of the top 3. To be perfectly honest with all of you, I think 9-1 is great value, and I don't think you're going to get it, I suppose, by the time it's going to be starting price tomorrow. Now, the last race of the day, the 3:45. We're not going to save the best to last, but we are going to save the next best. This one here, Patty D at 13-8 for Porrig Roach, and Anya O'Connor, I think, is riding it. This one here is the ladies' race. Obviously, look at Anya O'Connor is in serious form, in particular with these lady races. I think she is. I think she is anyway. I think she's the top lady rider at the moment in the leaderboard, but she's definitely up in the top 2 or top 3 anyway. She's a very nice rider. She's well capable of winning particular races like this. The form of his last race was very impressive. It had actually no, it wasn't the last race. It was the first race in Navan when it was, I think, 5th out of 20. I think it was priced in around 100-1 that particular day. But all you have to do is look down the, I suppose, list of horses that it beat. The next time out, Fakir absolutely hosed up in Goran Park in February. Dreel Deal was, I think, 40 lengths behind it that day, and like all you have to do is look up Dreel Deal and you'll see exactly how well he's done. I'm trying to think who else has been. I think Sunday at Julia's for Paul Nolan and Philip Reynolds was in that particular race as well. I think he was, or she was, I think something like 4 or 5 lengths behind Patty D that time. And since then, it's produced some very nice runs. So I suppose, looking when you're putting it all into perspective, Patty D is coming in here at a rating of, I think, 98, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 98 anyway. When you look at the form that it holds and the horses that it's beaten, and the rating that those particular horses have run up to since, Patty D is very, very well in. I personally think 13 to 8 is serious great value. I cannot see a horse to beat it here tomorrow. I personally think it's great value, and it should be definitely worth a very, very substantial bet, in my personal opinion. If you are going to be having a bet, I think you're as safe as houses going for Patty D tomorrow. But I'm going to leave it there. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you're looking in on the very first episode of the Irish Race an Hour podcast, you would have seen Dean Hegarty manage to, I suppose, spot a diamond in the rough for Noel Kelly. Hear No Evil. Just won there today at 11 to 1 over an air. So Dean, hats off to you. I completely missed that there, only for you pointing it out. I suppose looking at the racing going on for this week. If you want to see it, head over to the Irish Race an Hour on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. You will see a link to the video below, and yeah, there is, I suppose, races covered all the way up to this Saturday coming. So definitely make sure to keep an eye on that. We will be launching our Patreon account for the Irish Race an Hour now tomorrow. That will definitely be very, very interesting. We've had a look, I suppose, to fund the Irish Race an Hour podcast. We are looking for sponsorships, but this Patreon account will be, I suppose, there to fund it. If you want to, I suppose, get involved, it's €10 a month. But I suppose, look at it, if you're following the free tips on the podcast, a euro stake on the winner there today, you'd cover yourself for the month going into Christmas. So that's always, I suppose, a nice little incentive when we can get winners at that prices. But overall, look at, it's there, I suppose, to help us, I suppose, make this as much chance of a success than we possibly can. So hopefully a few of you will get behind us and, I suppose, support the Patreon account. No one is forced. I will still be doing these free tips every day. There is Irish racing on, but the three of us combined will be, I suppose, putting our heads together and trying to find better, I suppose, value prices for all of ye. I'm only one man at the end of the day. I'm no good for flat racing. The lads are experts. They're just absolutely unbelievable. And as you could see there, Dean, with the statistics, he is very, 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 very good. But look, I'm going to leave it there. Please make sure to keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you can as well, please make sure to go over to the Irish Race an Hour and subscribe to the channel there as well. That would mean so much to all of us. But I suppose for now, thanks very much. Best of luck tomorrow. And if you're having a bet, I hope a few of these are going to come in for you. Thanks very much.